welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is going to be my top 10 movies of 2020. 2020 obviously somewhat of a unique year because it pretty much killed cinema. There were still a few blockbuster movies, but most of the stuff has been kind of delayed or, you know, maybe put on VOD. Now, to be honest with you, I don't tend to watch a huge amount of blockbuster movies, if I'm honest. So my list tends to be mostly kind of, you know, home releases to begin with. But this year it's especially true. Now, I will point this before I kind of go out. The way I approach lists like this is a little different to how I review films. Because I can review a film objectively and kind of find it a very well-made film, but I maybe don't think it's as entertaining as I want. Movies that it's entertained me and I personally liked, although I may have had some objective issues with them, if that makes sense. So to me, this is my personal favourite list of movies that I've seen. Although I may have had some objections, and there are some movies here that I've reviewed in 2020 that I probably have rated higher, but I've enjoyed these movies more on a personal level. So this is what this is. There's a personal list of films that I have enjoyed the most over 2020. And we'll kind of go through it in a little bit more detail. Number 10 in reverse order. I should point out before we go in, these are movies that have been on general release in 2020. Some of these may have a 2019 release date if you look at IMDb, but that's because they probably hit the festival circuit and things like that. Anyway, Castle Freak 2020. I know a lot of people don't like this movie. This is a remake of a full moon movie from the 90s. And I actually quite enjoyed this movie because I thought it expanded upon the mythology and introduces a lot more of the Lovecraftian elements that from obviously the mind of H.P. Lovecraft into this movie to make it more of a mythology-based movie. And I really, really dug the last act of this movie, so that is why it is on my list at number 10. Number 9 is actually an Asian movie called Boot, Part 1. I think it's an Indian movie, and this is obviously a kind of Part 1. I'm assuming there'll be multiple parts in this, but it's about essentially a haunted ship that washes up on shore, and it focuses on this kind of one guy who goes on board to kind of sort of check it out and gets ultimately involved in kind of the entities that live there. I thought it was a thoroughly engaging movie. I enjoyed the characters. I thought the effects were fun. There's some beautiful sequences that are really scary involving this kind of like this old haunted ship that kind of reminds you of Death Ship and stuff like that. Number 8, Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. This is a Polish slasher film. And I'm not the biggest slasher fan, if I'm honest. I don't really like slasher films as a general rule. I find them quite samey. But this one I really enjoyed. And has some fun characters, some great kind of antagonists with very kind of well done prosthetics. And it actually has a little bit of a science fiction element to it as well, which I quite appreciated. Number 7, Ghosts of War. This is kind of a World War II ghost story. It has quite a big twist in it that will kind of come out of nowhere to some people. And I have mixed feelings about the ending, I won't lie. But the movie up until that point is fantastic. And I thought one of the best kind of like the ghost stories. And it's quite unique having it in this World War II setting, especially for a, you know, good production value that this movie actually has. So I enjoyed the Ghosts of War. As I say, I have mixed feelings about the ending. Number 6, we are talking The Blackout. This is the first of 2 Russian movies I have on this list. And this is quite an epic science fiction movie about an alien invasion. Now, I believe this might have been a Russian TV series that was edited down into a movie for kind of Western audiences, but nonetheless, I thought it was really entertaining. And I find Russian films, and I've seen a few of them over the last few years, are deadly serious. They're always kind of like, they don't have any humour in it whatsoever. And it gives it this certain kind of nihilistic feel that we don't really get in Hollywood, because they're always like really humorless. And that might sound weird, but I kind of, it makes it have a unique feel to a certain degree. And I thought the production value on this is impressive. Number 5 is the other Russian film that I want to kind of talk about, and that is Sputnik. And again, the same thing, this movie is humorless. There's not one joke in this film. But because of that, the sense of kind of tension and fear that you kind of get from Russian cinema, or a lot of Russian cinema, and this film in particular, is palpable. And this movie is kind of, I guess you would say it's similar to the movie Life, or kind of an alien kind of style film, essentially about an alien life form that is inhabiting the body of this astronaut or cosmonaut, and his relationship with the kind of the military and this sort of rogue doctor that's kind of trying to help him. Number 4 is The Wretched, and this one was a really nice surprise. It's kind of like a witchcraft movie, or kind of like a wood spirit, about this kind of creature that kind of lives in the woods and ultimately tries to take the children of this kind of local town, and has his power to make people forget that they exist once they're abducted. And I thought it was a fun movie which does have some creepy moments in it, and I thought some of the imagery here was fantastic. Number 3, Vampires versus the Bronx. Not a film I was particularly thrilled to kind of be watching when I could have first heard it, because I think the title of this movie is really poor. But nonetheless, this movie took me back to the days of Lost Boys, Fright Night, things like this. Really kind of fun vampire flick with some great protagonists, and obviously set in the background of the Bronx here, and how we have these kind of like Euro trash vampires that are, it's an allegory for gentrification, and okay, some of the vampires may have, they could be a little bit hard to defeat, to be honest, but I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. And now for my final 2, and these movies, yes, they're easy to criticise, but god damn did I have some fun with these last 2. Really, really enjoyed the pair of these last 2 movies. To me, there's a big gap between 2 and 3, because these last 2 I loved. And the first one, number 2, is Big Freaking Rat. A movie that could have so easily been, in my opinion, just another throwaway creature feature. But it's absolutely so fun because of some of the OTT characters, over-the-top gore, just general silliness. And it has a surprising amount of heart in it as well. One of the reasons why I love this movie so much, however, is down to one character that to me is he's like an Ash Williams from Evil Dead. He's this level of good. And it is this kind of like rodent pest control guy that sort of turns up. And it was just cinema gold. The jokes here are brilliant. I loved it. It's just so much fun. It's like a creature feature, super low budget, mega cheesy. It's got Felicia Rose in it. But, I just loved it. I thought it was such a fun movie. Yeah, I had some critiques. You watch some movie. I do have some critiques about it. But it's so much fun. Just loved it, movie, so much. Number 1, same kind of thing. This movie I had an absolute blast with. And again, it just seems such a generic throwaway film. And this is Don't Let Them In. And this is kind of, when you look at the box art and you look at the kind of the blurb on the back, it kind of seems like a generic home invasion style movie. And it's essentially about these 2 real estate agents, or estate agents as we call them here in the UK, and they basically go into this kind of like out of the way property to try and see this guy, and they are kind of surrounded by masked, Satanist types, if that makes sense. It has a great level of twist in it. Again, one of the key factors where this movie works is a great character, very much like Big Freaking Rat. one of the characters, one of our protagonists, is comedy gold. And it's like, if you're a fan of Ricky Gervais, it's almost like if Ricky Gervais played himself in a horror film. And I just loved it. I actually thought that the way, some of the line delivery here was brilliant. And those last two films, they are, to me, I've seen people critique them, that's fine, you know, but I enjoyed these movies a lot. And they were just so much fun, those last two films. So to me, that is my top 10. And like I said, I enjoyed them all in one way or another. Although critically, I understand, you know, they might not be for everyone, but goddamn, I enjoyed them, especially those last two. I hope to see more films like that in 2021. But, you know, as I say, anyone who's on this list, please go and check them out. Let me know what you think if you've seen any of them. Do you violently disagree with any of them? Check out my worst list as well and see if there's any films there that you actually kind of liked. Thanks for watching. Let's see what 2021 brings us. Stay safe out there, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.